tonight's demo is tube coral, and I'm going to share with you how to create a vibrant pink looking tube coral. Not coming out of my mouth very good tonight. A vibrant looking pink tube coral. Okay, so let's go ahead and get overhead and we will get started. There we go. Okay, so I have sketched out what this coral looks like. All right, a little bit smaller than the picture that I posted for the live, but it's very similar in shape. So once you've seen how to do one tube, you'll understand how to do them all. All right, but let me just come down and show you real quick what I have here. So I have sketched out this shape. So this one is standing up tall and proud, and they're kind of round. Well, they're certainly round going around this way, but they're rounded around the opening, and then you have a opening in the top. Okay, so this one you're looking right straight at it like you're looking across it, and then we have got a shorter one that comes in front. All right, and so we have an oval here on top and then another oval inside. Okay, and then he's got a little short body. Now these grow, right, they're attached to the rocks and the coral reefs, and they kind of grow in like a connected sort of base. Okay, and then they grow up and out, curved and straight. Now this one is facing away from you, so all you're going to see on this one is just that kind of rounded top of the back side of that curve. Okay, and then this one is kind of laying on its side. He's coming up, sweeping up this way, and more facing you, so it's a more rounded look into the inside of that piece. Okay, and then back here we have is just the coral reef that it's growing off of, and it's got a little bit of a platform, or just how it attaches itself to the coral itself. So I don't know enough about undersea life and how these live and grow to tell you exactly how they attach, but they do. Okay, all right, so let's put out some colors. I've got some magenta, excuse me, there we go. So magenta, and then I've got fire coral. Okay, so I thought that was an appropriate color to choose from for our lighter pink color. And then I have some neon pink, pink neon. You can use bright pink or pink neon. This is really bright. Now I'm going to show you, because I've had this question from people, what is the difference in the colors of the bright pink and the pink neon? So here you go. See that difference? You've got, this is much brighter, all right? But both of them do a really good job of looking bright on top of a darker background, okay? And then I'm just going to put out a little bit of white. Now I want you to see, as soon as I put that pink neon out, it kind of flattens itself out. So it's a thinner paint. It's more like a gel, or a little bit waterier, all right? So keep that in mind when you're using it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some white right over here, okay? We don't need any floating medium with this, and we're going to be using a scruffy brush to start, okay? So I've got a 1/2 inch scruffy, and I'm going to go ahead and flatten this out, and I'm going to come here and get my magenta, and then come over here to my fire coral and pounce. All right, get magenta, pounce next to the fire coral just to load that brush. A little more magenta. Okay, so plenty of paint in my scruffy, and I'm going to start with the back one first. All right, so let's come down here just a little bit closer. And I have a 8 flat, excuse me, 8 flat at the ready, dampened, and I'm going to show you why I need that. So I'm just going to set this right here off to the side, and I have it ready. Okay, so dark edge I'm going to put to the right on all these. All right, so we're going to come right up here, and we're going to pounce to get that rounded top. Okay, and then we're just going to pounce straight down, and I'm going to tip to the light pink side, and then I'm going to turn my brush So it's vertical to go in between. Okay, but this is giving me that shape that I want because they are somewhat bumpy. They're not fuzzy, that's the thing. All right, now I'm going to take this flat brush, I'm going to come right in here, and I'm going to get rid of all this heavy paint because I don't need heavy paint in there. And I want this to be dark in the center, so with this 8 flat I'm going to come and get magenta only, and I'm going to come right into the center of this hole and stroke that inside. All right, so I'm just going to leave that brush where I can get at it, come back and get my lighter color and my magenta, so fire coral and magenta. So we're going to work our way from back to front, and so now I'm going to do this one here. Now if your shape is smaller, don't fear, don't feel like you have to switch to another brush. You just take your brush and tilt it at an angle, and then you can come down and tap into that corner. Okay, so you're trailing the dark behind, keeping that light on the left hand side. Come back and get, now remember that one is rounded at the top, so I don't need to take the color away like I did with the others. Darn it, my brush just scooted underneath here. There it is. Of course I picked it up paint first. All right, so but what I can do is come right up here and kind of straighten that top edge, get a little bit of the fire coral on this side. All right, and then come back with my scruffy and repounce. So now I've got more of a straighter edge at the top. Okay, because remember I said they're not fuzzy or fluffy, they're just, they have a lot of grooves and not smooth surface. Okay, now let's come right in here and do this big guy right in the middle. Remember when you're pouncing, when you're using a scruffy, I've been teaching people with skill builders lately, their certifications, and one thing I've noticed is I see a lot of this kind of just down here pouncing really tight, and you don't ever pick up the brush. Okay, you want to pick up the brush and make sure you're creating space between your surface and the brush, okay, so that it's not making it muddy. Okay, so I got my light color in there. Now I'm going to come back with this brush and clean out that center, and then pick up magenta, and we're going to make that dark right in there. Okay, all right, coming back to my colors, we're going to do this guy over here, and you're just going to pounce that right in and tuck him underneath there in the front. Okay, now I want to, let's come in and pounce next to this fire coral edge first. Let me get the paint back on my brush. Now let's come pounce next to some white. All right, so these few in the front, I might want these to be just a little bit lighter, so I can pounce a little lighter edge with that pink coral. Okay, and then on this one here, we're going to turn it so that it's more angled, vertical, and pounce that in. Now I want the dark down here, so I can tip my brush back and just get the back dark corner and bring that through. Okay, and then come through on both of these and smooth out and darken that center. Okay, so that's as far as you need to go with the shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this scruffy brush in the water. Okay, so I think what we want to do, because we really want this to be darker, I need a little bit darker color. So I'm going to grab a little bit of Juneberry. That's not Juneberry. Here it is. A little bit of Juneberry. All right, and let's put that out right there. Okay. Okay, and so I'm going to come with my, this is an 8 flat, and I'm going to get Juneberry, and we're going to come in on this left side and darken that. See how that just makes it a little shade darker. All right, so you're coming around inside that opening. There we go. Now I'm not completely covering the opening with this dark, but I do want to set that dark into at least 2/3 of the opening there. And over here. There we go. Okay? So now you're seeing into the depth of that. It rounds it out, absolutely. So now what I can do with this brush is I can come in with some of this magenta and kind of set the roots or whatever this is that attaches to the rock right in there, and then get a little bit of that Juneberry and darken a few spots. Okay. So see how that's filling in? Just kind of bumping it down a little bit here. Okay, now I'm going to come and get a little bit of white and touch in some highlights there, here and there. And grabbing some white and this fire coral, I can come in on the right side of each of these openings. Now that that's set up just a little bit. See there? And it just makes them have a little bit of depth. Okay. All right, now before I can apply the bright pink, the neon pink, I need to dry this just real quick. So I'm going to grab my hair dryer. Just so I can do the shading and some of that bright neon look there. All right, so let me grab a 12 flat now. I am going to use a little bit of medium because I do want to shade just a little bit darker along that darker edge. Okay. All right, so I've got a 12 flat. I'm going to load this with medium. And I'm going to come over here and side load some Juneberry. All right, we're going to do our dark parts first. So I'm going to come along, first start in the back. We're going to come from this edge here. And this is where you're going to get kind of smooth out some of those scruffy, fuzzy marks, okay? So you can kind of go in and out a little bit, and that will give it that kind of wavy look, but not make it fuzzy anymore. A little stronger Juneberry. There we go. And here, I'm going to come up and over. Because we're looking at the back side of this one, remember? And then down. And as I'm coming down, come on. Get a little bit stronger. As I'm coming down, there we go. I'm going to go in and out a little bit so it gets more of a bumpy edge. Okay. And then we're going to come around this one here. There. And then this one is in front. Give it a little bit of a wave. There we go. Okay, so see how you've started to wake those up and give them some character? All right, so let me clean off that. And now we're going to come and get the neon pink. Pink neon. Okay, and remember I said this is kind of like a gel. It's not like our regular multi-surface paint. So you can see, first of all, I don't need medium because it's thinner. And then I'm going to come along this edge and again make those kind of bumpy in and out movements. But then as I come along, I'm occasionally going to pull across. All right, so you're going to get a little bit of a curve when you do that on the chisel edge of the brush. And then pull a little bit across, okay? And then I'm going to come right in front here across that opening. And along the back. See there, it's fairly transparent. So you have to have a color underneath it for it to show. Okay. So we'll come along that edge. And then we'll come along this back here and bump down. That wasn't quite dry. Pull across. Little chisel edge. See, that's really not dry. That's okay. All right, and then along this edge here. Not that edge, this edge. That's okay. Right in there. All right, so pull some of those strokes in. Just kind of lay that neon with the corner of your brush here and there. So this is, as I was showing you before, this is what the neon pink looks like versus the bright pink in our multi-surface line, all right? The bright pink is not quite as bright, and it is a multi-surface paint rather than a gel of neon like this. Okay. All right, then to finish these up, I'm going to get that 8 flat again and just come back with the little Juneberry and strengthen that inside. Come down this side. Right. Strengthen that. Come around the back so you can get rid of any fuzzy looking from your scruffy. There we go. Okay. And then pick up a little bit of white on the corner of that brush, and you can come, these have a fairly thick outer skin. I don't know if it's skin or what, but you know, I took oceanography in my college years. That was a long time ago. So anyway, it gives a little bit of a highlight. So there you go, neon pink coral, tube coral. Neon pink tube coral. All right. And like I said, they grow in really tall, skinny, like that picture that I shared, or they're clumps like this. But we're going to use that same process when we do the ones in the class later this month. Okay, so there's your tube coral demonstration.